Hi everybody, welcome to Tell Me Tuesday. Welcome to the 7th day. That's 7 whole days that I've made it through live streaming. Celebrating that every day is a milestone. So celebrating that for sure. But yeah, Tell Me Tuesday. So Tell Me Tuesday it's a month by month theme to offer support to anyone who's got anything that they're feeling they need for support. It's a space for me to offer intuitive guidance and wisdom on a as it's needed to whoever's around basis. So once these videos are being created on YouTube, then that will be my YouTube community. But for now, it's whoever participates on any of the posts anywhere that I share them. And since this is the first Tuesday, there's nothing much out there. This is more gleaned from my observations of people's posts and a little bit of an intro to Tell Me Tuesday as well. So yeah, each Tuesday of a month or a lunar cycle, there will be a sort of theme. It will be the same theme for the month to offer a grounding in support for anybody who needs it, and also to offer a broader scope of time to receive support as well. And today it's what's the one thing that's causing you the biggest challenge right now, if you can narrow it down to one thing. And because oftentimes it's more than one thing, oftentimes it's multiple things, but oftentimes it's one thing under the multiple things. Oftentimes it's just one thing that's down there. It's this is my challenge, and this is my challenge, and this is my challenge. But when we go through them, we find that there's an underlying cause to that, and it could be not getting enough sleep, it could be not looking after your body right, it could be not moving your body enough, it could be a self-worth issue that stems from old stories, it could be a fear or anxiety issue that stems from old conditionings, and oftentimes there is just one underlying root cause that we want to get to when we're looking at things. And oftentimes some of what I glean through this is a collective energy running through things, that people have got the same things going on. There's a lot of the biggest challenge that people have facing this week being the weather and issues around that, either because it's really warm here anyway in the UK, we're having a mini heat wave of sorts, although I'm in the north, real far north of England this week to see my dad, and we've had rain and hail this afternoon, and I've got friends down south going, I'm melting, and I'm like, come to Cumbria, it's raining. And yeah, it amuses me always, because I grew up here, and oftentimes lots of people were complaining about heat waves, we were looking out going, what's that? I'd have given for some of the heat waves that some of my friends and acquaintances experienced in the noughties, that I just didn't, because I lived here and it's just perpetual rain. Anyway, so yeah, that can be a thing that is the physical conditions that are rippling through can be causing challenges for people, because when we're hot with the weather, we're frustrated, and when we're frustrated, we can then activate that in other areas of our life. We're short-tempered with the family, or we don't feel like we're getting as much done as we could do, because let's face it, at least here in the UK, we're not very geared to this hot weather and our buildings are not geared to it, because it's a temperate climate, and so we're not you know, we've got a bit dare I say soft in our views with the weather. I don't know, like when you look at where people talk about the summers from the 70s and like it was common to have really, really scorching hot summers. There's some difference of opinion about whether it was, you know, ever as hot as it is, but we're not here to get into politics. Someone in a post that I was reading the other day, said, made this observation. Anyone who knows me knows that I love play on words. I was always talking today about the week and the weekend and week and weekend and all that stuff, and I love words and politics, poly, many, ticks, irritating pests. I was like, can't help it. Anyway, we're not here to get in with the... We're not here to get into discussions on the many irritating pests that may be trying to rule the world. We are here to talk about what the biggest challenges are that people are facing right now. And obviously, yes, it's the weather, and there's a lot of underlying, rippling emotions and feelings that are cropping up, which are probably cosmically aligned. There's some big shifts and big changes coming through this week with Uranus, however you meant to say it. I don't know, I'm British. We joked at school about calling it Uranus, so I don't know. Anyway, Uranus in Gemini, which apparently is going to be relief for me because I'm a Taurus and it's been a Taurus, and it apparently, you know, it's a bit of a chaotic time, and it actually fits because my life has been pretty turbulent and chaotic for the last 7 years, and it'd be nice to say goodbye to that one. Let Gemini suffer that for 7 years. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot going on with that sort of thing, and I think it does impact people in much of a greater way than they realise, because we're not educated on this stuff. So we're not educated into how to navigate the time or where that alignment may be factoring into our like astrological chart and stuff. And while that happens, we then just feel like our lives are falling apart because we're not using the information that is there, that's being shared with us from the cosmos to support us. Like, oh, you know, this is a good time to look at this area of my life and improve it. This is a good time to look at this area in my life and nurture it and care for it. And this is a good time to maybe like go, yeah, I'm not going to touch that area in my life for this few days. Well, that transit happens. That's like... we should be educated on this stuff. It is a science and it's fascinating. But one of the things that has come up into my awareness today, and I thought, I'm going to touch on this because it's close to my heart with my upbringings and thoughts and feelings around church, religion, and the things that we use. It's come up into my awareness because of this thoughts and feelings around church and religion. You know, I'm my dad's, so it always comes into my awareness when I'm at my dad's. But about how we view the tools and things that we use to support us through challenges in life. So here I am saying, what's your biggest challenge in life? And basically I'm here to then say, like, these are the tools and guides and things that you can use to support yourself. And they can become crutches. They can become things that we no longer need. They can become things that support us brilliantly at the time that we find them, but then they can become like a splint that we use on our hand because of an injury that we then rely on, or a walking stick that we use at the point of an injury that we then end up relying on. Painkillers, people get addicted to painkillers all the time because they begin on them and then they become dependent on them. Same as with any other substance that's used for a dependency. Oftentimes as well, the kinds of people that get addicted to substances get addicted to the things that they use to support themselves to get from them. And they can be a wide range of spiritual tools. And these things can cause as much issue as the things we're trying to find relief from. And they get misused, mishandled, and they cause as much pain as we've tried to escape from. And what I'm observing in my reality at the moment is lots of people who've had trauma situations. I'm just thinking on like how I came from trauma, religious trauma, into tools and guidance, and how then I'm seeing the other side happening now and often, where people who've not had religious upbringings and ties use the same tools that I've turned to, but then not have a integration or not be supported by the integrated healer. They're not supported by the integrated healer. They're supported by someone who got like £10 course off the internet and thinks they now know how to help people, and they're not integrated themselves, or they did an ayahuasca ceremony and they got told by the spirits that was what they were going to do, and not an integrated healer. And we can use these tools and become dependent on them and not be seeing any results, or not be seeing the results that we most wish for. Like, I went into my healing journey to improve my financial status, to improve my then business, my handmade knitting and crochet business, to get that seen and get that out there and get that successful. And it wasn't particularly not successful. There was things about me that were a little bit hindrance, but yeah, it could have been successful. But it wasn't my soul path, and it was distracting me from my soul path, even though there was like these little under rippling currents of my soul calling there, with the interest in holistic therapies, having chosen holistic approach to healthcare for my family at that point, and not going down mainstream medical routes, and returning to nature medicine and energy medicine, and looking at natural ways of treating and supporting physical things, and I'd gone down that route, and then was like looking at aromatherapy and looking at what I could do to learn more about this, while still having a very small baby at the time, well, toddler at the time. So there's that ripple coming in, but I let my things around this handmade business and my financial situation hold me stuck in this handmade business for way longer than it should have been. And then I started on my healing journey, and that released this like emotion and energy around it to be like, yeah, no, that's what you're here to do. You're here to support healing. And I am repeatedly shown that I am the healer for the healers. I am here to support those who are activating themselves as healers, to support them in this integration thing. Because this integration thing, if you're thrown into energy and healing, and you're thrown into the support of other people through their trauma and their pain and their shadow, and you're not, I'm going to say healed, and I know there's like loads of people out there going to go, you can't ever be properly healed. That winds me up a little bit, because it's limiting and restrictive. Yes, there are always layers. There's always another layer of growth and expansion to find. But to say you can never be healed winds me up, because it why bother keep on trying? You know, like literally, why bother keep on trying? If you're never going to be healed, why bother keep on trying? So there has to be a point where all of the deep, dark pain is released and integration can occur. And then you're in an expansive place. And dare we say it, healed. Like actually healed from the trauma, from the wounds. Our physical wounds heal. So why do we think our emotional or mental wounds or our spiritual wounds don't heal? Like, you can heal a physical wound and there be no scar. No scar. If there is a scar, it's not one that keeps opening up again. So why do we think we've got mental and emotional wounds or spiritual wounds that they keep opening up again? They don't have to. That's the integration part. And this is what so often I see not being supported and not being helped. There's just another tool given out, another tool given out, another tool given out. Try this, try that, try that. No, no. Stop trying anything. And that's the scary part. And that's what I'm here to talk about. Because that's what I'm seeing occurring. It's what I did. It's actually what I did last year, really. I let go of all my tools. I stopped intense meditation. I stopped journaling as much. I stopped doing any sort of emotional clearing process and practice. I wasn't really doing any EFT, except for anything that I was doing for clients or anything like the videos I was creating. I kind of really just dropped it all. Unless I was in a place of, what do I need in this moment? And we can get so caught up in, we've got to use this tool, and if I don't use this tool, then I'm going to fall apart. And I've been there, and there is a point in your healing journey when you need that tool. You need that. So for me, my day started with visualization meditation as soon as I opened my eyes. Started, because if I didn't do that, my head spiraled straight away into the, what have I got to do today? All of this stuff that I've got to sort out, all of the financial stuff, all of the work that I had to do, all of the worry of the bills that had to be paid that I'd not quite got the money for, or we'd have to go shopping and then I'd have to sort out, like, which is a little bit of money that we just got just to get that to get, leave me enough for this little bill here. And like, there's some parts of that haven't changed, shifted big time, but there's still that's still there. That's still there. It's at some point where I'm like, I've still got to choose. Do I buy food or do I pay a bill? And buying food always wins, like hands down. I'll take on the fucking utility company by the balls to say, I feed my children first. And you will still respect my needs to have electric, have gas, have a telephone line, have internet. You'll respect my needs for that. And see where these companies are just not caring and supporting and even have a clue about people's mental and emotional state. But these tools that we use, we can just become so dependent on. And this letting go of them is scary, so scary. But so necessary as part of the how far have I come? How well am I doing? How much more support do I need? Where do I need to go for the rest of my support? What do I need to do now? What do I need to do next? If we're still fixating on the one tool that may have supported us out of the darkest night of the soul, and we've uncovered another layer of something, but we still use that tool, and yet there's another layer of something coming up, and then we find, oh right, okay, so this tool helps with this other layer, but we keep doing that, and then we're doing that, and then there's another layer, and then we add another tool on top for that one, and then we just become bogged down and overwhelmed with what we're doing, and end up feeling like there's no result, feeling like nothing is changing, feeling like it's a perpetual healing journey that I'm never going to end. And if you then got leading you through this an unintegrated healer, you see the sticky side of these spiritual tools. You see the co-opted side of these tools, and then, you know, another tool comes along, a religion knocking on the door. I've got the answers. And because, see, what happens is they make you drop all the other tools because they're all demonic. I've got to be quiet. They're all from the dark side. So you've got to drop all of those tools. So then you're only looking at Christ, religion, the Bible, and of course you're going to start feeling better, because the answer wasn't your Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ. The answer wasn't that. The answer was letting everything else go to the side and finding something new. And this has come about for me because I'm having this like shift in my creations and offerings. So I'm doing this now, and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to drop a lot of this other stuff that's in my head to create in the future. You know, I have a membership plan. I have like 4 or 5 processes. If you previously had gone to my website, you'd see there was like 4 or 5 processes coming soon, because they're in here and they're not on any platform. I have 2 things that are on my platform but hidden, so you can't see them, because I created them on a previous platform like 4 years ago. So you can't see them, and like they're there taking up space in the ether, and I keep getting these messages that there's something really powerful and big there that I'm on the cusp of creating, but I'm like, that's on top of all of these other things, like on top of so many different tools and processes that can guide and support you through, which will all be evergreen processes, so they'll always be then generating income for me. That's amazing. But they're still only created up here. I'm like, no. I've just got this really clear message to drop them all, except for Surrender Trust, which you can still get into, because that's one of the things that's a really big thing. And I've changed and shifted that into this beta test for the 3 parts of the process to be created fully before they go into the world, and it's an ongoing project. Which this comes into, this is the surrender part, this is the letting go part, this is the the letting go of all of your things and surrendering all. And I can't do it anymore. Can't do it all anymore. Gotta let it all go. And this concept of letting go is, it's like clearing the house out to allow yourself to get new things. My girls have always had this thing when they want new toys, you get rid of old things first. You want new books, you get rid of old things first. Before we bring one new thing in, we get rid of 10 old things. And that's been a thing, and now I'm doing it with the clothes, because now they're teenagers and they're like, I'm going shopping again, Mum. Oh, just look what they got. I got this and I got that and I got something else. And I'm like, how many clothes have you got rid of? No. I've got nowhere to put all my clothes. Yeah. So yes, same rules begin to apply with that. We get rid of stuff. We moved house. We got rid of so much stuff to make space for the new. And this is this thing, getting rid of, letting go of all of the things to make space for the new. And that whatever that new thing is doesn't have to be the only thing. Like I've shedded all of this stuff and like my tools, my mental health, emotional health tools, and I was then able to be like, this one here really supports me. This one here stays. This one here supports me to remember how I support other people. This one stays too. And in relation to like creation here now, I'm like, right, okay, I love video creation, but actually to make this video, like this is like what, 20-minute, half an hour little riff me to the camera, but it actually at the moment, because I'm not doing this on YouTube, it takes me then longer than it will when I'm doing this on YouTube, which I'm like, you know, please come and subscribe to me on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube, because then I get my 50 subscribers and I can live stream on YouTube, get my video views, and I can be there as a live stream on YouTube, and I cut out half of this middle process. So I'm live streaming here on Facebook, and then I have to get the video from Facebook, because Facebook in their wisdom now only keep videos anyway for 30 days, which works for me because I don't want these things to stay on YouTube forever. And then I have to put them through a whole editing process to tweak out some little bits and pieces occasionally. I can do that because I'm not live streaming on YouTube, and I can and to put them in so that they're like landscape, because obviously Facebook on my phone I'm portrait and I want to be landscape on YouTube, and for these longer form videos anyway, and then which means that I need to put them into an editing tool to add them to so that they're landscape, to then download them from there to then put them on YouTube. And it's a whole process, and because I'm creating these from scratch with the whole graphic thing as well, that's a recreation of my graphics, because my old graphics are outdated. So I'm like, I want new, fresh graphics. So it's a whole process. So I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I need to mentally let go of all of this other stuff, which is just there in my ears, as I adjust my earbud. There's all there in my head of like, oh, is this like really good idea for this process, or this way of supporting people? Like, all of that's still there, all of that's still wisdom and knowledge that I can get to use, but maybe I get to use it in a different way with my one-to-one mentoring clients, as opposed to creating a whole process that's not actually bringing me in any income at the time, because I'm just still in the creating the process and not in the marketing the process or receiving income for the process. And that's all, like, I'm at this point where I need to receive income for what I'm doing to keep the growth and expansion that's there, because I don't want to get stuck in this godforsaken benefit system that we have here in the UK. But at the moment, like, we also can't really only live on £500 a month. That's not possible. And my husband's also seeing his expansion of his services that he provides grow. But again, he's starting from scratch. At least I'm not starting from scratch, but he's starting from scratch in a completely new area. And that's like, he's just getting a little job here and a little job there, whilst also navigating some other complex situations that he's able to do because he's got more time than me in a linear sense to do that. But it is also taking him away from his pursuits, like his livelihood pursuits. So it needs to be done, and it could also be part of our wider family purpose to collapse the systems of the world. Hi YouTube, I'm Davina Ketson, and I'm going to collapse the systems of the world single-handedly. Well, actually with my husband, but yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I'm sure YouTube will love that. Right. So, letting go of our bank of tools to make space for new ones and allow those tools to then help with the next level of expansion. They're not healing us, they're expanding us. We're now at the point where we need to think in expansion terms and not in perpetual healer. The wounded healer is a thing that just lives on and on and on through us, and it's time to move past that. Yeah, the bone's healed. We're in rehab now. Yeah, we're in rehab now, and rehab is about continual improvement. We're not healing anymore. It's time to integrate and build up the strength of the integrated healer. And I think this is such a valuable piece. This is such a valuable piece, and this letting go of the tools that we've used to help us has to be done in a held way that's not giving the power away to another thing. It needs to come from like, this is, you need to now look for the answers inside yourself. You have used all these tools, usually given to you by somebody else, which you usually found on a Facebook advert. Let's face it. Is that just me? No. Actually, no. The tools that I've used have actually been given to me by other people, kind-heartedly or intuitively, gifting the wisdom of them, not necessarily the tools. Because, you know, I found EFT because one of my friends was like, "Oh, I'm doing this. I'm finding this really, really helpful," and that was like amazing and life-changing. And here I am now. I pass that gift on. And that's one of the tools that stuck. Like, that's, I use EFT every day to support me, because that's what I'm creating based on energy clearing is a deeper version of energy, emotional clearing. And that gets to be something that I pass on to these mentoring spaces where I share how that looks for the integration of the expansion that we're doing. So that part of letting go of the tools is a key, but for you to then come into here and into this space and know that you are the saviour and you are the answer, and the answer is right here, and you don't need anyone else to tell you where it is. And the problem is, if you're not in that space of having been held through the wounds, held through them, you'll just give that power away to the next saviour that comes along. But ultimately, whilst that will work for a short period of time, once that wound is healed, there will still be this hole because you're not integrated the innate wisdom that's in you. And the reason why it may continue to work for a really, really long time, my parents were amazing manifestors. They were like incredible experts at the law of attraction because they had it in here. But I see so many people, in the same belief system who don't have it in here. And it's not in here. And then they're still empty inside. And they're still either not trusting that the answer will come because they still don't think they're worthy, because there's still, there's that condition in there that, I'm not worthy because I'm a sinner in relation to like Christian fundamentalism. And it has to be in here. It has to be in here. And if you succeed in getting it in here, then that paradigm will stay for you. It will be your continued means of support. And also, we're talking here church, religion. It's a spiritual thing. And again, come back to, talked about, I think maybe on my first day of this 7 days ago, that for me, the spiritual healing is the key. It's the key. The spiritual healing is the key to this whole healing. But most of us don't know how to go down that route first, so we have to start with one of the other kinds of healings, and it's usually mental and emotional. And yeah, this is why it works for those people who then take that spiritual into their hearts and then feel like they've found the answer at the expense of their own divine connection. They're still playing into the control systems of humanity. And that's where it gets sticky. So, find yourself an integrated healer to hold the space for you to find your inner answers. And I don't think there's many of them around, because a lot of healers are still using terms like, the healing's never done. What if you were healed? What would that feel like? What would that look like? And how would it be to integrate your healing into your new life? So, that is it for today. Let go. If you're feeling overwhelmed by all of the things, let go of it all. Yes, it's scary, it's terrifying, because they've held you up and helped you through. But let go of them all. Melt, surrender, let it all fall away. And see what new things come to take their space. But be careful that what comes to take the space is not filling you up with even more wounds, trauma, and conditioning stories. You are the healer. You can be healed. It's time to integrate. Much love and keep shining, and I will see you all again soon.